So TOEFL made recent changes to its exam structure, format, and everything. And Duolingo, CELPIP, they all look different from the traditional IELTS and TOEFL. Technically, I must say, in terms of structure, uh, TOEFL and IELTS have been the easiest so far. IELTS is just so straightforward. Listening is listening, writing is writing, speaking is speaking, reading is reading. Unlike in TOEFL, TOEFL is even still better traditionally. But if you check the old TOEFL before they changed it in January 2026, if you go to the writing part, they will tell you to listen to something. Task one, you listen to a short lecture, you read a short passage, and then you will write, right? You will write. And then for the speaking, okay, you listen to some conversations. Sometimes you read a short passage, also you speak. You see, mixing reading and listening inside the speaking. And then for the writing too, you listen to a lecture, listen, then you read a passage, and before you now speak or before you now write. You see, so it makes it a little bit confusing, but now I think it's even worse. And that was how, or this is how Duolingo and Telpip and PTE Core have always been. And so in the end now, IELTS and TOEFL had that advantage, but now TOEFL has now changed some part. TOEFL will now be telling you, you will see scattered words. They will not. I'm going to do a video on TOEFL, the new TOEFL. You will see scattered words. They will now tell you to pick those words and form sentence with them. So it's a little bit clumsy. So people have always been thinking that IELTS too has changed in 2026. But here and now, I must tell you, it is a big lie. It is all myth, and many students believe that certain question types have disappeared, and then they are now going to prepare for new or other question types. It is also myth. So in this video, I'm going to debunk these widespread rumors about these supposed major IELTS changes in 2026. The main message of this video today will be the test format, that the test format remains very much the same, the way it has been, and that much of this online panic is driven by fear, or is driven by fear of the unknown and misinformation, rather than official announcement from IELTS. There is no announcement from IELTS, be it IDP, British Council, or for Australia, or anywhere that there has been any changes. People are the ones who are just fabricating these ones, and it's making people to be misled. So many students believe that, number one, certain question types will disappear. It's a lie. Question types are not disappearing. They believe that map questions are increasing. It is a lie. Map questions are not increasing. For you to be able to say this, you have to at least have access to over 200 exams, which is not possible for anybody to do unless you're inside British Council. Then they also believe that accents are becoming harder. The traditional accents have always been American, Australia, UK, and some other. So there's nothing that has changed about that. Then they also believe that speaking topics are changing drastically. Speaking topics are not really changing. It's still the same thing. In fact, I always tell people that for the IELTS speaking, if you have any online site that gives you lots of topics, like over 40 topics, trust me, many of them are the things you'll be seeing in the actual exam, because they have a kind of limited pool they pick from. They also believe that special predictions guarantee success. It is a lie. How can you be wasting your time looking for predictions and thinking that, oh, if I can get this, I'll be able to get success in my IELTS? IELTS does not want you to make it through prediction. They want you to make it through diligence and understanding. So to me, there is no evidence that the question types have changed. Some students believe that true, the false, the not giving questions are increasing, and then they also believe that matching headings are disappearing, and then they believe that certain essay types are more common than others. But to me, it is not correct. All those things are not founded, they are not true, and there is no official evidence to support this. So the best IELTS strategy to me remains that, number one, prepare for all question types. Do not depend on predictions. Do not say, "Ah, let's predict that this one may come out, this one may not come out," because in the end you will be disappointed and it may be very, very tough to swallow. Then also, prepare for all question types. Do not depend on 2006 leaks, that, oh, there is this 2026 leak that came out somewhere that this also question type is coming out, or they will say actual IELTS. All those things are all lies. And then do not believe in social media rumor. So IELTS can test any standard question type at any time. So do not prepare for certain question types. Otherwise, you are only preparing to fail the IELTS exam. The second thing I want to say is that the reading and the listening format are still basically the same. So, but some rumors that I've seen online that my students also asked me is that reading answer patterns changed. The answer patterns did not change. Now they are more of computer than paper. So definitely it will be such a way that it will favor computer usage better than paper usage. But the question and answer patterns remain the same. Then people also often say that map questions became harder. Map questions did not become any harder. In fact, if you see any question in map and you have it, bring it, let's solve together. You will see that I can prove to you that it's not harder than what you had about 5 years ago. And they also believe that listening sections change structure. No, the listening structure still remains the same. 4 sections, usually 10 questions per section, and then they'll give you time to prepare, like maybe 60 seconds to prepare before you start answering your questions. So I want to say that number one, the format remains standard. That's why it's called standardized test. Number two, patterns are consistent with previous years as it has always been, and then map questions are still normal IELTS questions. So important IELTS truths you need to know. Students often panic because number one, they fear difficult questions appear online. And so when they see difficult questions online, they are like, oh, it's going to be like that in the exam. And that often makes them to become a little bit nervous into the exam. And students often panic because influencers exaggerate changes. You just see people online who want to sell with their fake videos and lies, telling you, oh, and these changes have come, 2024 changes you need to see. So I'm sure when you saw 2026 changes as my topic, you know, YouTube thumbnail text, you are thinking, oh, maybe this Kojex wants to give us new changes. There are no new changes. So all those people are just using that to make money from people, and then people often fear because candidates look for shortcuts. They're always looking for shortcuts. They'll teach you this is how to ace your speaking, this is how to ace your reading, and then in the end you try to apply all those shortcuts. Some of them do not even work. I always tell people that beyond, yes, I teach shortcuts, I teach ways you can ace your reading and all of that, but I always tell people that beyond all this, work on your understanding. If you do not understand the passage, sometimes you just see simple synonyms there that your eyes will not be able to detect, and in the end the candidate can still fail. So in the end, be careful about shortcuts, but IELTS in the end remains standardized. As long as it remains standardized, it would always act the way it is acting. So shortcuts will not just give some people as an advantage over other people. Then the third thing I want to discuss is that the IELTS listening accents have not changed dramatically. So the listening test still includes number one, the British accent, like I said earlier, the Australian accent, like I said earlier, American accent, Canadian accent, and other natural English accents. And this has always been part of IELTS right from over like 20 years now that I've been teaching IELTS. These are the accents we've been coming across. I've not seen any Nigerian accent. I've not seen any other kind of accent that people may be thinking, oh, it has become harder. It's the same way they've been speaking. And usually for IELTS listening, section 4 usually will come harder than section 1 and 2. That does not mean that it has changed. It's still the same thing. And so the goal is to test real world English understanding. That is what IELTS is basically testing. Real world English understanding, not necessarily your understanding of one accent or having advantage of one accent over the other. So what is the best listening preparation I'll give to you? Instead of fearing accents, listen to different English speakers daily, practice podcasts and interviews, and then improve overall listening ability by practicing, looking for. In fact, there are so many online resources. It is Cambridge, British Cambridge. There's one site I'm going to post that has original Cambridge, IELTS reading, listening, and speaking tests. You can actually listen to and improve your listening skill rather than just be having unnecessary panic. Number four, writing and speaking have not become harder. In fact, writing and speaking have remained the same. So rumors in the past claim that new essay types are appearing. That is not really true. They also claim that speaking topics are strange. To me, that is not really true. They also claim that examiners are stricter. In Nigeria, for instance, they may become stricter because they know that some people may want to beat the system, but basically the standard has remained the same. And then the speakers would often come and say that standard essay types remain the same. It's what we are telling you. That speaking topics still focus on everyday life and opinions. That the marking system is unchanged. This is my important speaking warning. Never memorize answers. IELTS will detect it because you'll be sounding like a robot, you won't sound natural, and they're going to penalize you for it. So never memorize answers. This is one of the strongest warning I would often give to people. Examiners are trained to identify robotic answers, like say you be robots, then they know scripted responses that you've already, because I told you now they have like limited pool of questions to pick from for speaking. You now go and cram, memorize, and then just start giving it word for word. They'll detect it. They'll detect unnatural fluency, and then memorization can lower your score. Do not memorize. So better speaking strategy from me is that number one, speak naturally, and focus on communication, focus on fluency, focus on idea development, and then be confident. So, real reason people fail IELTS, according to me, is that number one, many candidates search for tricks. How can you just sit down, prepare for 2 weeks or 3 weeks? You are looking for tricks on how to beat. You're now going to be looking for patterns of tricks. You'll now be planning, preparing, and then in the end, the exam doesn't come out that way. And then you go and take the exam, and the result is not too good. So, one of the things people face is that they search for tricks, they rely on hacks, and then they chase predictions, and all these things do not work. So avoid, and then they avoid building real English skills. So if you do not build real English skills by watching English programs, listening to news, reading newspapers, how can you pass IELTS the way you want to? So people come and tell me, Mr. Ernest, Kojex consult, IELTS terminator. If I come to your center, if I write the IELTS, am I going to score 7? Am I going to score 8? Am I going to score 9? I'll tell them first of all, I have to first of all, I'll give you an appraisal test to check your foundation. Then before I'll be able to tell you, okay, this is the improvement you can make to actually help you score 7 plus or 8 plus or something like that. So instead of them to build real English skills, what you see them doing is that they are not doing that. And they forget that IELTS rewards genuine language ability. And you can only do that not by magic, but by consistent practice, then consistent preparation, and balanced skill development. So some of the best IELTS preparation approach I'll give to you is that number one, study all question types. Number two, do not ignore any section. Don't play with that. Number two, build real English skills. And how do you build real English skills? Focus on reading daily, listening regularly, speaking naturally, writing frequently. All these things would help your English. Number three, follow a structured plan. Make a plan. And that's why if you come to IELTS, if you come to do IELTS, CELP, PT, or anything with us, we'll give you a plan, and would help you within a month. You should be able to score 7 plus in your IELTS, and equivalent of that 7 plus in other English proficiency tests at Kojex Edu Consult. Then the third advice I'll give to you is that follow a structured plan. Like I said, sorry. The fourth advice I'm going to give to you is that practice under real conditions. Practice under real conditions. At first, when you start, you can do anything you want in your room and all of that. You may not use your timer, but close to your exam, start working with timer. Try to work in a conducive environment. Try to, if possible, practice on computer, not just paper, because the exam is now computer based. So use time practice, to test regularly close to your exam. And so, what are the common myth or common assumptions of IELTS that I have just debunked in this video? That certain question types are disappearing. False IELTS, it is false. That certain IELTS types are disappearing, it is false. IELTS became much harder in 2026, it is false. Memorized answers help speaking, it is also false. Map questions are new, it is also false. Special predictions guarantee success, it is also false. So the bottom line as we conclude is that IELTS test in 2026 is fundamentally the same exam as it has always been. So success does not come from hacks. Success will not come from leaked predictions you find online, and success can never come from memorization. Success comes from number one, real English improvement. That's what you can get with us at Kojex Edu Consult. A trial will convince you. Smart preparation will prepare you smartly. Practice all skills, and then finally, sound natural in your communication. The best IELTS strategy is still the simplest. Build strong English skills and prepare consistently. And that is what we thrive and strive to achieve for you at Kojex Edu Consult. I remain your boy, Ernest Amosugbe Adibayo Koje. If you have any questions, please ask in the comment section. And we teach you in the Nigerian way so that you'll be able to pass, because most of the English we learn here cannot guarantee you scoring even 7 plus in IELTS. That's why Koje's Consult has developed a formula to help you score 7 plus in IELTS and its equivalent in all English exams. If you have any question, like I said, remember to ask in the comment section, subscribe, and then if you want, we do our lectures. We have physical lectures, we have online lectures. Anyone you want, just comment in the comment section, and you'll find our contact details in the comment section also, or the description section. And let me know if there's anything you need from us. Until see again, signing out.